74-54, the final score inside the Bryce Jordan Center as Penn State knocks off Wagner on Wednesday evening in Happy Valley. Welcome into the Penn State men's basketball postgame show, joined alongside by Jelani White. I'm Mitch Gerber. Jelani, 8 points for you this evening, 3 of 4 from the field, 5 rebounds in 25 minutes played, a.k.a. alley-oop sensation tonight. What did you take away from this win?
This win just shows that what we do in practice translates to the game. We've been working real hard in practice, and it definitely showed tonight.
Second half, the offensive explosion came out. You guys obviously were up by a couple going into the break in the second half. What changed when you guys came out on the offensive side?
We just had to come out with energy. We knew that they was going to come out with energy. We heard last time they came out, they went on a 22-0 run against the team they played, so we knew we was going to have to match the energy or do better.
When it came to the offensive flow, obviously in the second half, things started to open up. It was 32-27 at the break. You finished with 8 points tonight. But then you guys went on a 19-4 run and a 20-point lead. Ultimately, I think the highest lead you had in that game was 23 points as a collective unit. But when you went on those runs, how nice was it to see some of that offensive flow for you guys offensively that you guys have been working on in practice?
It was fun. Coach Shrews always talks about it. Like, basketball is supposed to be fun. So the fact that we did everything he was preaching in practice and it was actually fun, it really showed that he knows what he's talking about as a coach.
He absolutely knows what he's talking about. On the defensive side of the ball, obviously you guys have another great performance holding your opponent under their season average scoring total. Why are you guys so lethal on the defensive side?
Because that's what Coach Shrews preaches. He wants us to be a gritty team, tough team. So that's what we go into practice with, and that's what we plan on going into games with.
We continue to hear about, this is a group of transfers. This is one of the oldest teams in the country. You guys are still trying to find your offensive flow, your defensive flow. How do you feel you guys are starting to click as a collective unit out there on the floor?
I feel good. It showed tonight that we're getting a lot better as a team, but we still got a lot to work on. It's just gonna get better from here.
What is one of those things you personally want to work on throughout the season here as we go on?
As a team, we just got to work on being stronger with the ball, no turnovers. That's one of the main things.
Jelani, appreciate your time. Congratulations on the win.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
That's Jelani White of the Penn State Nittany Lions as once again 74-54, the final score here inside the Bryce Jordan Center on Wednesday evening. Let's go back through some of the highlights in this contest as Penn State had a 32-27 lead at the break. Leading scorer was John Harrer and Jalen Pickett, 7 points each. Also both had 3 rebounds in this contest at the break. Penn State shot 42% in the first half with 5 made threes. Nittany Lions with 10 points off the bench and 10 points in the paint here in this first half as the scoring would take a second to get going, but second half looked much better offensively, as Jelani White just alluded to. Balanced scoring attack as 6 Nittany Lions collected points in that first half. Penn State forced 7 turnovers on Wagner and held the Seahawks to just 25% from 3. Jalen Pickett surpassed 500 career assists in the first half. Needed 2 coming into this contest. He had 4 in the first half. As you guys are seeing the culmination of the end of the first half where Penn State started to get things going offensively. See here, hitting from deep in this contest. Penn State with a plethora of threes in this contest. Nittany Lions came into this game shooting 38.4% from deep with an average of 9.5 made threes per game, which has led to 4 PSU victories. Guess how many they hit tonight? More than their season average. AKA that led to a victory over the Wagner Seahawks as Penn State improves to 5-4 overall, 0-1 in Big Ten play. Wagner falls to 3-2 overall, and coming off of that COVID pause within their program, they have not played a conference game to this point. But here we are in the second half of this contest as we await to hear from a couple of Penn State student athletes. It looks like they're about set here in the press conference, so let's cut out of these highlights head to the press conference.
Get hit 500 career assists tonight. What type of teammate is Jalen on the court?
He got 500.
Wait,
I
he
don't know,
said
that's a lot.
500 assists?
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. But no, I mean, that explains for itself though. Like he always, trying to find open people, get his teammates open, make his teammates better, stuff like that. And that's just character and being a leader.
Yeah, he's a very unselfish player. You get out there, if he has it going, he probably start getting more aggressive on the shots, but always like try to find a window, and if he sees it, he's gonna give it up. So it's great playing with guys like him.
Seth, you mentioned the turnovers. It's been a real issue in certain games this year. What is leading to those, and then how were you able to get past it in the second half? Was it their pressure that was doing it? Was it you guys being a little bit sloppy? And then again, how did you address it in the second half?
No,
Thanks.
I just feel like we was just being sloppy. I just feel like nobody really turns us over. I feel like we turn ourselves over. It's just unforced turnovers we have. Where, like, we just gotta be strong with the ball, just lose passes and stuff like that. People jumping in gaps and we just passing it right to the other team. And we just gotta take care of the ball, be stronger with it, just be better decision makers and stuff like that. And I mean, we did that in the second half, and it showed.
Hey guys, can you talk a little bit more about your defense this game?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to remember the defense, but I know we played good defense. I know in the second half I felt myself jumping to the ball a lot more aggressive, because the whole game plan was to pack the paint, help your teammate, because we know a lot of them guys were good drivers and they were gonna try to get to the rim and finish. So second half we just all put a foot in the paint and we played the gaps.
Not yet. Pick up on what he said. Yeah, like we just in the first half, like we learned from mistakes. Like people was getting straight line draws. They was coming off the ball screens easy, and I feel like we were just being more aggressive. And when you have the ball and you see 5 guys like towards you, all looking at you, like make you want to pass the ball, like you don't even want to score the ball, and it's like intimidating. So, I mean, we was in the gaps heavy and stuff like that. So, I mean, we just made each other better defensively in the show.
Seth, what happened on that play there at the beginning of the second half? It looked like you might have took a knock in the face.
Yeah. No, I was just going for the loose ball, do it for it. Other kid just fell on top of me, and like my head hit the ground, and like my mouth and stuff started bleeding real bad, and she got a cut on my lip. It's cool though.
You guys faced a pretty aggressive zone defense tonight. You haven't seen a ton of zone this year. Slower start on offense, opened up in the second half. What changed in the half court offense? I know you said you got going in transition, but what changed in the half court in the second half?
In the second half, the whole first half they were in the 2-3, so it was kind of bothering us. We ain't really play no team like that. So the second half, when it's the second half, us having an older team, it's easier to make reads because they've been doing it for 20 minutes already. So I think what it was the second half we came out, we was breaking it pretty easy, and they got out of it very quickly, and I think the reason was for that because Coach Shoes drew up a good game plan in the locker room to attack that, and that's what we did the beginning of the second half. And then they went to man, and then it was just time to apply the principles we was learning in the 2 days prior to the game, and we did it, executed well, found the teammates, and we made the right plays.
We got time for 2 more.
It's for either one of you. What kind of impact does Jelani have off the bench? He seems to bring a lot of energy, and defensively, he seemed to be pretty active tonight.
No, yeah, Jelani is definitely an active player, especially defensively and rebounding. If one of the guards get blown by, like he just really make the guard shoot a very contested jump shot. And it's always difficult trying to show somebody like him with long arms and is super athletic. And he just always make it harder for the other team to shoot the ball. And he always rebounded too at a high level. And he just bring a lot of energy. He cover a lot of space defensively, and it's just great having a player like him.
Hey guys, we talked to you guys earlier this week. There was a lot of respect for Wagner. Coach, I think even specifically said you guys probably wouldn't win by 20, but you did win by 20. What does that say about your performance tonight?
We executed very well. We played tougher than we might have shown on film. The whole coaching staff was preaching to us how tough those guys were on Wagner, and they were, and I think we put our foot down this game. A lot of people could say in the past we had to be more tougher, but this game we put our foot down, and Coach Shoes always says a tougher team sets the rules, and that's what we did. We took away their aggression, and once they seen that, we felt like they kind of took their foot off, and we just kept accelerating, and I think that's what happened.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Thanks, boys.
Thank you.
All right, that is Same systems, and Seth Lundy addressing the local media following Wednesday's game here inside the Bryce Jordan Center. We'll hear from head coach Micah Shrewsbury coming up momentarily. 74-54, once again the final score here inside the BJC on Wednesday evening. Up next for Penn State, they're going to hit the road and take on Big Ten foe Michigan State, number 19 ranked Michigan State, Saturday at 2 o'clock p.m. on the Big Ten Network. Hopefully some of you watching this post-game show right now are headed to East Lansing. If not, you can catch that game on the Big Ten Network, or as always, you can listen to Steve Jones and company on the Penn State Sports Network. The next time Penn State will be back here right inside the Bryce Jordan Center will be on Wednesday, December 22nd against Quinnipiac at 5 o'clock p.m. But for now, let's head back on over to the press conference room where head coach Micah Shrewsbury addresses the local media.
Happy with how our guys played, happy with how our guys prepared. I told Coach Mason after the game, I was like, I'll see you guys in March. Like, they didn't play their best tonight, but they've also was on a COVID stoppage and everything else. But that team's going to be good. Like, Alex Morales is a good player. Elijah Ford didn't play very well because he was in foul trouble and everything else. He's a good player. Zaire Williams, for a freshman, like some of the shots they make, some of the things they do. But I felt like our guys respected them, and we prepared that way. But we also knew, like, how hard this team played and how physical they were and what we needed to do to continue to play well. We got to keep cleaning different areas up, but I felt like we took steps in the right direction offensively and defensively, so I'm happy with what we did.
Micah, when you guys went on that 22-4 run, all 22 of your points came around the rim or from the three-point line or from the free throw line. Is that the best you've seen your offense play this year?
We took really long segments of practice Monday and Tuesday, and then a long segment in shoot-around today, just strictly focused on our offense, just simplifying what we do, getting everybody on the same page, and cutting at a high rate and a high pace. And I thought we did it. I thought there was a lot of carryover, right? You work on things. You hope you carry it over to the game when you spend a lot of time on it. But then there's also areas where you don't want to take steps back, right? We didn't spend as much time defensively that we normally do, but yet we were pretty good defensively too. So that's like the challenge of what you do. But I felt like how our guys played, how they cut, where we started our offense, where we're getting our first catch. I thought all of that was great. So we're getting there. I think we're going to see a great challenge on Saturday. Michigan State's one of the best defenses in America, right? So we have to go back and do it again and figure out to do the same exact things. But when you do that, you put time in and you have success with it, right? You keep getting more guys to buy into how we're playing, and once they see success. So I thought it was the best we played, and we got to be even better on Saturday.
You said earlier this week you couldn't expect to beat Wagner by just 20 points. You did come out and beat Wagner by 20 points. How important for confidence is it to get a win by such a high margin?
I thought it was going to be just a grinded out game. Like I really did all week. Like, I was concerned about this game. Like, the Ohio State game took a lot out of us, and I knew how hard these guys were going to play and what they were going to do. That's hats off to our guys for how well they played. Thought Adam Fisher did a great job of preparing them on the defensive end for what they were going to see. And I thought we guarded that great. And then our guys took some things from film in terms of what we watched, how we could attack them, and they did it. So it helps in our confidence. Like, we start to see when, I told our guys I don't know if this is the exact quote because I had it written down the other day, but it was like, the most interesting things happen just on the other side of your comfort zone. felt like we had to get out of our comfort zone a little bit and try some things. Go out on faith and try some things. And I thought they really did that.
Mike, along those lines, their zone seemed to give you some issues in the first half, and you shot yourselves in the foot again. What's it like as a coach to see that light bulb go off in the second half? And big picture-wise, we're not going to get a chance to talk to you tomorrow. Where are Greg and Giovanni in terms of how close they are to playing? Thanks.
Yeah. This was our first really like live action in a game against the zone. And how they played it was a little extended, so they took away what we were trying to do. So we just had to find the right openings. Instead of doing exactly how it works in practice, because they guarded it a little bit different. Like you have to tweak just a little bit. So instead of the opening being on the wing, sometimes it's near the elbow, and then sometimes it's right in the middle by the nail. So I thought they did a better job of finding that, where that opening was, and we started to get better and better. It's also like a testament of, I thought, of how well we were playing versus man, that they went to the zone to try and slow it down, because I thought we were really moving the ball and getting good shots and good opportunities. Greg's getting close. Like he warmed up today and went through shoot around, and he got into practice a little bit. A little bit Monday, not much, and then a little bit more on Tuesday. So we're going to ease him back in and try and find a chance to get him some live action. So he's close. He's pretty close to playing. I think he's closer than Giovanni in terms of playing. But we'll see with both of them. I think they're both inching closer and closer to being available for us.
Sam came off the bench tonight. What did you see from him as soon as he came in? Seemed to be a bit of a spark plug. Handled the offense well when you guys were struggling, turn the ball over, getting inside, dishing it. What did you see from him handling coming off the bench tonight?
Yeah, I thought he was pretty locked in. I thought he wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be early in the game. Like I wanted him to catch. He caught it. I remember one time against the zone, he caught it and didn't face the rim, and he had a chance to attack like a bigger guy in there. I brought him off the bench, and I told him this. Like I wanted him to play more with Jelani. Right? I think they're starting to build a pretty good chemistry in terms of playing in pick and roll together. Right? So we tried to go with different lineups, surround Sam with a bunch of guys that can shoot and a guy that's a threat, at the rim. Jelani's a threat rolling, but he's also a vertical threat, right? He's a threat above the rim where like sometimes you can't guard that. And he and Sam have a good chemistry with their lobs when they're playing. So, just trying to find, I think, I don't know, maybe it was Sunday night or Monday, you guys were asking me about different lineups and tinkering and finding different things. And I think you can constantly try and look at things to help your team. And, I think the more guys Sam plays with that space the floor and can shoot the floor, it opens up the middle of the floor for him to drive it. And now they're worried about Jelani rolling to the rim and catching lobs. Now Sam's getting layups and everything else. So hope Tom Izzo's not watching this.
Micah, you touched on it a little bit there over here. You're good. Jelani, what has he brought to the table for you guys, especially, with Giovanni and Greg being out and having to be that guy that steps in for John when he needs a rest and foul trouble and things like that?
Yeah, he's, he never, questions what we're doing. Trying to look, he played, 24 minutes tonight, which was more than he's played in the last few games. But he got an opportunity to play with John tonight. Right, there was a pretty good matchup where he could play with him, and I thought they did good things together. They help us rebound. They both can guard, their guys around the basket, around the rim, and they help stop the ball in our pick and roll defense. So, he gets in there and he competes. Like he blocks shots. He's long. He's active. He gets offensive rebounds, and I think, the more comfortable he gets. The better he gets, as the season keeps going and going. He finds that kind of niche of what he needs to do, and then, constantly do with each game.
We'll go 3 more. We'll go Spencer, Andrew, and then Dave.
Micah, Jalen Pickett hit 500 career assists tonight. What makes Jalen such a unique playmaker?
He, I think he's unique because he's like the old cartoons, like the rabbit takes off and then the tortoise is still like hanging out by the free throw or by the starting line. Like that's how Jalen is. He just kind of slowly gets his way to the lane and then people come over and help. But he plays at such a pace where he's always under control. Right? He's very rarely not in control, but he's also kind of knows where everybody is. But that's him, getting good chemistry with John, getting good chemistry with the other guys on the court, and them being in the right spots where he knows where they're going to be. He made some of those passes. He gets that kind of dump off every game where he gets in there and he pivots and he shot fakes and the guy jumps and he jumps and he dumps it down to the big. And then like he threw a pass in the second half late in the game off of a pick and roll to a guy across on the other side of the court. Like there's not many people that can do that can play that way. He's got good size. He's got long arms. He can pass over the defense. So that makes him unique in how he plays. But he's also defending like crazy too. He's been really good on the defensive end.
Coach, you guys had played a couple top 25 teams coming into this one, a couple tournament teams. How do you feel that benefited you tonight when facing another tournament team?
You have to compete at a really, really high level every single night, like against the good teams, which, in our league, they're all good teams. And a game like this helps us because you can't take your foot off the gas. Like I wanted to get some of the guys that don't play very much. I wanted to get them in earlier, but I never felt comfortable. We were up 20 with 2 minutes left, and I didn't feel comfortable. So I'm like, they could get 3 or 4 steals in a row, and like now it's like getting back manageable, where like every possession is magnified, every defensive rebound is magnified. And when you have to focus like that, when you have to compete like that for 40 minutes, that's how you have to play to beat good people. And, we're having to play like that. We're going to have to play like that 3 times in 1 week with, Ohio State, now this game, and then again on Saturday.
Micah, we've talked a lot about the turnovers on the offensive end, but I think you guys have been toward the bottom of the country forcing turnovers as well. You got 15 tonight. How big was that for you, I guess, in response to what they were doing, and do you feel like that's important going forward?
I mean, not really. Like, we don't. It helps us. Yeah, it helped us tonight because we turned it over too many times again. But like our turnovers were us being in position. Like we got steals. I don't even know how many steals we got. Not very. We got 9 steals. It's amazing. But we were in the right spots. I can think of a few right in front of me in the first half when we went on a run. But all it was a guy, building a wall, helping against a drive, and playing like this, right? If he's standing there with his hands on his hips, he's not getting a steal. But he's also not taking himself out of position to get a steal. We were in position in getting steals, and I think that's where we force turnovers. We won't be a high volume, like forcing turnover team. Like we'll start to get more like this once we get more sound in our defense, once we get more active in our gaps when we're helping, just as long as we're not taking ourselves out of the position. So like we kept them off the glass. That's what I was more excited about that than the steals or the turnovers, because us being in position keeps us inside of their offense, and now you're in better block-out position. And I think, throughout the season, there's not many teams that have gotten us on the glass like that. LSU, but they got a bunch of superheroes running from half court and flying into the rim. Michigan State will be a challenge. That's what they do. So But if we stay sound, if we stay solid, if we stay in good defensive position, it helps our rebounding. So, but yeah, I always say long and active in our gaps, and we were long and active. I think that's where a bunch of those turnovers came from.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.
Well, stay sound and stay present. The message from head coach Micah Shrewsbury following this contest with Wagner. 74-54, this final score. Once again from here inside the Bryce Jordan Center, as Penn State will now turn the page against a top 25 team in number 19 Michigan State on Saturday. That game will be on the road on the Big Ten Network if you're not able to be in East Lansing. Tip time is set for 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, once again from Michigan State. Let's go through the highlights one more time before we wrap up this edition of the Penn State men's basketball postgame show. Starting in the first half, Penn State shot 42% in that first half, made 5 threes as the Nittany Lions had 10 points off the bench and 10 points in the paint. Head coach Micah Shrewsbury talking about how he was happy with how this program prepared coming into this Wagner game. That's been a key word for Penn State so far this season. Preparation, preparation, preparation. Being able to execute in that film study to come out against an opponent like Wagner, and now they will have to escalate that against Michigan State. Best we've played is the quote that Micah Shrewsbury said so far this season. It says a lot about this 20-point outcome for Penn State. Sam Sessoms and Jelani White's chemistry also highlighted in that press conference from head coach Micah Shrewsbury. The chemistry between them both on the court, and then obviously Lob City between the two here tonight inside the BJC. Can't take your foot off the gas. It's the final message there from head coach Micah Shrewsbury in his press conference. Penn State in the second half opened things up when it came to the scoring aspect of things as they went on a 19-4 run to garner a 20-point lead with just over about 10 minutes to play in this contest. Penn State would continue on that momentum with the John Hara dunk that really opened things up in the second half for Penn State offensively in this game. Sam Sessoms right here hitting from deep. He finished tonight with 16 points. That was a team high, tied for a team high with Jalen Pickett, who also had 16 points for Penn State this evening. Seth Lundy finished with 10 points. Sam Sessoms 16. John Hara with 12. Jalen Pickett was 16. Miles Dredd with 9. And Jelani White with 8 points in tonight's contest. Penn State will be back here inside the Bryce Jordan Center on December the 22nd. It's a Wednesday evening at 5 o'clock p.m. Somewhat of an early tip. So if you can get off work a little bit early, please come on through. Maybe you might already be on the holiday break against Quinnipiac. Will be the next contest here inside the Bryce Jordan Center. Miles Dredd just 5 shy of 200 career three-pointers. Jalen Pickett surpassed 500 career assists tonight. He finished with 4 in this contest, needed 2. And John Hara eclipsed the 600 career points mark. He needed 11, and he finished with 12 points. Just 1 over what he needed in this contest. Once again, 74-54, the final score here inside the Bryce Jordan Center as Penn State knocks off Wagner and improves to 5-4 on the season, 0-1 in conference play, and will now take on Michigan State this Saturday at 2 o'clock p.m. in East Lansing on the Big Ten Network. Until then, have a safe and pleasant evening.